Challenging questions for the spiritual searcher and for the leader. Part 5. The finished business. Questioning spiritual authorities and the guru. Every good and decent spiritual teacher, mentor, and guru will always guide you towards yourself. He or she will encourage you to ask questions, also to ask critical or challenging questions. Many gurus we see actually do state that they encourage challenging questions. But if we take a closer look at it, we may find out that some of them actually don't want you to ask them challenging questions. Or have you ever witnessed a challenging question being asked and then responded to by the guru in a satisfying way that gives you the impression that they actually enjoyed answering the question? Probably you might not have seen this. So again, every decent teacher, mentor, and guru should be happy to have students that ask challenging questions. When on the spiritual path, we may be looking for spiritual guidance or spiritual support that actually tells the truth and that has a sense of integrity within itself, a sense of decency and of kindness. We are looking for support that is organic and natural and still connected to the human heart. So what we are actually searching for is spiritual support and guidance that walks the path, that walks the talk, that walks their own talk. If this is not so, then you have to ask yourself, is this the appropriate path for me? Sorry again. Is this the appropriate path for me? So here's the next critical question. Is it true that the guru sometimes takes on the karma of their students? The critical question here would be, is it also possible that it's actually the other way around? Is it possible that the students, devotees, and followers may be taking on the karma of the spiritual leader, while the leader is getting all of the positive results? That means a growth of his business, an increase of followers, and maybe popularity in the spiritual fields. Next critical question. Is the growth of the spiritual business of the spiritual leader achieved on the backs of their students and followers? This is just a short critical question for you to feel into it and then write the first and intuitive answer down. Next critical question. Does the spiritual leader keep his promises? some of the spiritual leaders, spiritual guides, healers, prophets, or spiritual or self-development systems will offer you things like happiness, fulfillment, enjoyment, love, peace, reconnection, and unconditional love, by the way. And at this point, we just want to ask the question, is it true that the spiritual leader and the spiritual system really intend to fulfill these promises? So this would be questioning the intention and the amount of truth and integrity of the spiritual leader of the or the spiritual system or of the spiritual development business. Again, just write the question down and write your answer down. Next critical question. Are the spiritual guides really guiding you towards freedom and liberation? Do they really want and intend to guide you towards freedom, liberation, and truth? Isn't it funny that you first should serve them for 7 years in order to be free by being a servant to them for 7 years first? See, free and serve, free and servant, master and servant. So, if you find contradictions and inconsistencies like these in their speeches or teachings, also write these contradictions down and ask yourself from the very get-go, do you want to follow these contradictions for the rest of your spiritual journey, or even for the rest of this week? And this time, answer the question yourself. By the way, we should ask ourselves what the real meaning of liberation in the Eastern tradition, also called moksha, really is, or what it really means, given that there might be an artificial confinement system in place. And for this topic, please do research the Saturn Moon matrix structure. At least some people in the spiritual scene say that it does exist. A spontaneous question here would be, do we constantly have to appease predators that do not have our best interest in mind? So much for today. This was challenging questions for the spiritual searcher and for the leader, part 5.